Hello and welcome back to Spirit Sherpa. I am your host, Kelle Sparta, and you'll notice a few things that are going to be different today. So, for number one, you're going to notice that this episode is going to be shorter than most. For number two, you're going to notice that we're going to be talking about different things. And for number three, you're going to notice that Josh isn't here. So, let me explain to you what's going on. So, this is our transition episode. I am transitioning the podcast and my company to a B2B model. And so what that means is that I'm going to be transitioning to talking about business, spiritual business. And yes, I will occasionally talk about spirituality and different topics like that as I feel called to, or as somebody sends in a question for it. But I am going to be talking specifically from the perspective of talking to people who are already out there and serving the world in their spiritual practices, in their traditions, in their facilitation, their teaching, their, everything, right? And I'm going to be doing this as just me. And I will also be inviting different people onto the show, not as an interview, but for them to get a chance to have an experience of either a business energy review, where I look at the energy of their business and talk to them about what's going on, where the blocks are, things like that, or as a spiritual business coaching session where we talk about, what's stuck, where are we going, what's happening. And in that they get regular business coaching as well as any sort of spiritual intuitive hits that I have on the process. So as we are going through this process, I'll also be doing some just straight education stuff, and that's what I'll be doing today. And we're going to be doing the occasional sponsored event where, I have somebody come in and I interview them and talk to them about the services that they offer for spiritual entrepreneurs. Okay. And I said I was going to do something else too. Oh, case studies. I'll talk about case studies for people I've worked with, obviously anonymized, and what outcomes they've gotten and things like that. So if you are someone who is not interested in being a spiritual practitioner, you will probably still pick some stuff up, but it's probably not going to be all just for you. And for that, I apologize. But there are 400 plus episodes from before that you can review, and I'm sure you will get more out of them every time you listen. We are still, you're still welcome to come into the programs, but just know that the programs will now integrate business topics within them. And so, you can come in and do them without doing the business topics. If you want to do that, that's not a problem. But you just know that the group sessions will include business content as well. So that's my big announcement. Oh my God, right? So I'm excited for the transition, and I wanted to mention to you guys about, how this has come about. So for the last 6 months or so, I have been looking at Spirit Sherpa and going, I feel like I've said everything that I can say in 8 years, right? As talking to you and what I can teach you without giving you stuff that would be dangerous for you to do without supervision. And you guys know me, I will never gatekeep unless it's for your safety. So the questions that I'm getting are very high-end questions, hey, talk to us about demonology, talk to us about, blood magic and things like that. And I'm like, no. These are not topics that you talk about without supervision, because these are things you can hurt yourself with. And so therefore we do not teach them to people who are not under our supervision. So, I've been sitting there going, well, I can rehash the stuff that I've done before and talk about it from a new angle or whatever. And I'm like, that doesn't feel good, right? And I was like, you know what? These questions, these type of questions are at the level that people who are ready to help the world are asking. And so you guys are at that point. And if you're out there and you're going, I'm not really happy with my work and I'm really into this stuff and I don't know if I can do this. I don't really want to run a business, but maybe I have to run a business. If you're in that space, you may want to stay subscribed. Okay. Because, the questions that you're at the point of asking, and that was what the purpose of this podcast was. The purpose of the podcast was to get you to the point where you were ready to have the conversation with me. And now most of you are ready to have the conversation with me. And I'm super excited to have this conversation with you. And I'm going to get to talk about things that I have not been able to talk about. And I'm so excited for that. And this is what happens when you get further along in your business. When you get to a certain state in your business, and it's so interesting because I recorded the first of these calls with spiritual practitioners before I did this episode. Okay. So I had a call just like half an hour ago with Marissa Finelli, and you'll hear that in the next episode. She's with the Holistic Entrepreneurs group in Facebook. And she runs the Find Your Healers site. And she's in the same place in her business as I am with mine. You know, when you get a little further along, what you built originally no longer fits, right? And so I'm at this point where it's time for me to start talking about these more advanced topics and these things that are about how do I serve the world. And it's just it's a stage that you come to in your spiritual business when you've been doing it for a while, where the one-on-one work, the B2C, so business to consumer is what that means, B2C, business to business is what B2B means. And where, you want to start talking at a higher level, you want to start working in a deeper space, you want to work with people who are further along in the journey and all of this. And I did that evolution a bit as I stepped back and had Josh come in and take over the first two programs in the sequence. And now we're going to take it to another level entirely by bringing it to a more evolved group, right? So to further along the line, right? And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take Woo Squared and I'm going to split it into two programs. Because the other thing that's happening is that people are not wanting to make long commitments. And so Woo Squared is a year-long program right now. And I think it's just going to be easier to have it be 2 6-month programs rather than a year program. So you can take a break in between if you need to, or you can roll right in if you want, but it gives you the opportunity to just kind of be like, oh, okay. And so it's less commitment, right? And with the energies being so challenged right now, giving a less commitment option is appreciated, right? So there's a huge amount of shift happening. And so one of the things you guys haven't heard about on the podcast yet, I don't think, is the Sacred Prophets program. That it's a membership site that we started for people who are in the nascency, the beginning of their spiritual business, and or just thinking about getting involved in their spiritual business and trying to learn everything they need to know before they start. Both of those are valid places to come into this. And we're doing, every week there's 4 pieces of content that we drop on the topics of mindset and KPIs, so key performance indicators, things that move the needle. Here's something to go do to make some money in your business right now. And then tips, tricks, and tech tools, right? And then an inspiration, funny meme thing. And then once a month, we drop 2 additional things. That's what I was trying to say, really, which is the book recommendation and the piece of magic. So sound healing, guided meditation, something like that, right? And right now, so I will tell you that we are planning to expand this pretty dramatically over the next few months. And right now, the price to get in, if you get in on the founders level, and we've only got 30 spots left for that. We've already sold out 20 of them. So you can get it for $29 a month or $2.99 for the year. And I will tell you that we will be adding in coaching. We will be adding in people coming in and talking, presentations from vendors who do services for people at this level. And those will be added into the mix. They are not there now. And that's why the price is where it is. But if you get in now, your price does not change when we do that. So I will tell you, this is the time to get in on that program because it is so cheap, right? And even if you miss the founders level, even if you're not one of those 30 people, it only goes up to $39.99. And then 50 people later, it'll go up to 47.77. And then, once we add in the coaching piece, which will come, then we'll be bringing that price up to at least $97. So, uh, get in while you can, because this is going to be a really good deal. Okay. And there's also a Prosperity Collective discussion group where you can talk with other people who are in the program and maybe come up with ways to collaborate and ask questions about the course materials and things like that. Um, so yeah, amazing things afoot, right? And so, this is the thing. When you are starting your spiritual business, there are so many ways in which the business takes up your time and energy, right? When you start doing this, the algorithms in your social media are going to deliver you every million, 50 million different $7 to $20 courses, right? They're going to deliver you 50 million, $3 to $10,000 coaching programs. They're going to deliver you a brand new insight every day on different things. And how do you choose which things you're going to do, right? Because you can't do them all. It's absolutely impossible to do them all. You absolutely have to pick and choose what you're going to do and how you're going to get business in the door for your business. And the problem is, it's fun to make content. It's not so fun to market yourself for most of us. And so we end up doing things that keep us busy but do not make us money. And so that's the other thing is you've got to pay attention to, is making sure that what you're doing is actually going to bring you in cash. And sometimes you have to test, right? So, you test doing different pathways, right? Initially, Josh made a whole bunch of phone calls because Josh and I are doing this program together. And as one of the reasons Josh isn't on the program anymore here is because he's now traveling the country, going to individual metaphysical shows and marketing to all the vendors at those shows and to all the practitioners. And so he loves to do one-on-one interaction to make sales and to do that. His happy place is in relationship. I love to make videos and content, and so that's what I'm doing. We've got a whole new TikTok channel that's specifically for this. It's called Sacred Profits. I think it's sacred.profits technically. And I'm making a video every single day of the week, not just weekdays, 7 days a week. And there's a video that goes out on this topic every single day on that. And we are about to launch the YouTube channel that's going to have all of those as well. So if TikTok isn't your thing, you can find it on YouTube. And I think we're going to do it on Reels and Instagram. Don't quote me. I'm not sure. I'm not doing that. That's somebody else's job. But I know it's going on YouTube and I know it's going on TikTok. And so, these are the ways that we're marketing our business, is we are each playing to our strengths. I can't go all over the place in the US because I don't live there anymore, right? It's not easy for me. I have to get on a plane and rent a car and it's not practical. This is practical for me, right? I can get in front of a camera and talk to you guys. So when you're thinking about how to get your business off the ground, you want to think about, what do I enjoy doing, right? I like TikTok. You guys have heard me talk about it a lot. I spend a lot of time on TikTok. And therefore, TikTok is a great platform for me. One of the things I have learned, though, is that because my phone has a Panama SIM card, I have to record the video, send it to Josh, and have him post it from a TikTok account from his phone, because otherwise it won't get distributed to the US. These are the little tips and tricks that you learn about in the program, right? And so, when you're thinking about how you're going to market your business, think about how you like to market. If you are a face-to-face person, well, go to networking meetings in your area. Go to meetup groups that are from people who are like-minded. If you're go to a spiritual meetup group, right? If you are somebody who likes to, not be seen very much, and you don't like to talk to the camera, but you don't like to go out and talk to people either, maybe a faceless video channel would be a good idea for you. If you love to teach, like me, maybe a webinar is the right choice. There's lots of different ways, but don't try to do 20 ways at once. Try one and see how it goes. And then, and when I say see how it goes, I don't mean do it once. I mean do it 15, 20 times and see how it goes, right? If you're not going to give it time to work, don't bother. Right. And you can ask ChatGPT or your happy or whatever AI you like, what's a reasonable time frame to give this to make sure it works. You can say, what is the average amount of people who show up and what is the average conversion rate of those people? And what is my problem? Am I not getting enough people in the door or am I not converting enough people? Right. And that is how you look at it. And you can make ChatGPT your partner in that way. It's a wonderful business coach in that regard. Um, it has its limitations, don't get me wrong, but don't hand it all of your stuff. But for giving you percentages and what are the averages and what to expect and what's unreasonable and all of that, that's completely within its purview. And so, this is another one of the things we'll talk about in the Spirit Guides, sorry, not Spirit Guides, Sacred Prophets program. I can talk really. And so, these are the sorts of things that you want to pay attention to as you're going out into the world. And, you know, it's also about how do you structure your business model, right? Your business model needs to be set up such that you are not going to be frying yourself to a crisp to deliver on it and to also do all the marketing and to do all the discovery calls and all of that stuff if you have discovery calls. And it also needs to be set up in a way that will produce enough income for you to live abundantly because you want to have enough money coming in to not only pay for all of your expenses, but also to market yourself more extensively and hire on support staff and be able to take breaks and vacations and pay for those vacations and have extra left over to put money in savings. Who knew, right? So all of these things need to be accounted for when you set up your business. And, if you're saying, oh, it's not about the money, well, it is about the money. If you're trying to make a living doing it, it absolutely has to be about the money. Yes, you're doing your mission, but much like anybody who does anything else in the world, you want to get paid for what you do. And so these things come into play. Okay. So this is what we're going to be talking about on this channel. This is what we're going to be covering in more depth in the in the Sacred Prophets program. And this is how things are going to go from here forward. So the next episode is going to be Marissa Finelli, and we're going to be talking about how, to get unstuck in your business. And then we've got several more practitioners who've already signed up to be on the show. If you would like to be on the show, please send me an email at kelly@kellesparta.com. And please tell me what you do. You have to, have a spiritual business or be trying to start a spiritual business and what it is that the problem is, right? So, and then what'll happen is that I will respond, which means you really absolutely have to have your a white list on my address, my email address, kelly@kellesparta.com. So we are having some deliverability issues right now. And so, it's just we're having some problems with responses. So if you don't get a response from me within 48 hours, I responded and you just didn't get it. So please email me again. Don't think I forgot you or said you weren't good enough and none of that. Okay. We're having some deliverability issues right now and I'm working on them. And so make sure you whitelist it. And I will respond back with a link to the calendar to sign up and then a form that you need to fill out for the podcast. So we have everything we need to get you ready. All right. And so that's all I have for you guys this week, guys. I know it's a big change. I hope you will stay with me as we make this transition. I love you all. I want to give you the best things that are there for you. And this, to me, after 6 months of contemplation, has been the best thing that I could come up with for you. And I'm super excited to share it with you. So have a great day. And remember, what you focus on expands. What you intend is what you create. So choose wisely.